It's been more than a month since the body of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez was found in an impounded car registered to the singer David. But the LA County District Attorney is sharing an update. We'll explain to you what this newest development means about the case. This is Inside the Crime, presented by Law&Crime. I'm Elizabeth Millner. Questions have been swirling since the discovery of Celeste's body. Weeks into the investigation, though, no arrests, no official charges, still an active case. Even the LA County District Attorney saying that the case hasn't been presented to his office. Since the discovery of 15-year-old Celeste, there are two questions lingering on a lot of minds. What happened to her, and why isn't anyone charged in connection to her death? She didn't just put herself in the front trunk of that Tesla. She didn't wrap herself in plastic. Let's run through the timeline real quick. In April of 2024, Celeste was reported missing by her family in Lake Elsinore. According to reports, she was found by police and then returned home. But the following month, she was reported missing again. More than a year later, in August of this year, a Tesla registered to David Anthony Berk, or known by his stage name David, but spelled with a 4, the position of the tires on the Tesla were marked by authorities. Why is that important? Because a week later, a parking citation was issued, and 2 days after that, the Tesla was impounded. Police were alerted to Celeste's body after tow workers noticed a foul odor coming from the car. And on September 8th, her remains were found, a day after her 15th birthday. On September 17th, now 9 days after the gruesome discovery, detectives with the LAPD Robbery Homicide Division served a search warrant on David's rental home, and several bags of evidence were taken from the home, including surveillance video from inside the home. Now, a day after the rental home was raided by police over in Texas, where David's parents live, officers swarmed his parents' home after getting calls of an active shooter.
Waller County Sheriff's Office is Amber. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, Waller County Sheriff's Office.
Hello, I need help.
Okay, what's going on? Where are you at?
My address is...
Okay, what's going on?
I heard, some, gunshots.
Okay. How close to your residence were they?
They were, right outside my house, and I think someone's dead.
Go ahead, District 81.
There's more that went on.
Can you repeat, sir? Broken traffic.
That's not normal activity. If you were at the wrong address, they'd be concerned about somebody else. Like really? You know what I mean? They'd be trying to help.
Can you send Tinder 42, sir?
Affirmative. Engine and Tinder 42.
That's clear, sir.
I'm gonna go put my rifle up. The call we got was somebody was dead. Whoever called said there's somebody that's dead, for sure.
Highway 6 northbound at Essence 2979 at the gas station. You're going to have a trailer axle on fire on the big rig. They are trying to put it out with a fire truck.
Sorry to bother you, but somebody called and said there was something. I mean, there was a person where they called on themselves. You know what I mean? It was like, hey, there's somebody dead.
Someone's dead.
That's why we had to take caution. You know what I mean? Wasn't trying to scare y'all. This house is way off the roadway. We didn't know where we were rolling up on.
See,
you just opened the gate and came in?
Yes, ma'am. I'll put it back. I have a gate just like it.
I can get part of it in my country.
Yeah, when it's something like this, when they say somebody's dead, their life matters more than, you know what I mean?
I hear.
I didn't damage your gate. I just opened it.
How would I find a number like this? I only have all names on my phone.
Just go to the number where you type it in, and it should just, when you type it in, it should just come up as their name.
Well, she only gave the last 4.
Hey, what's the whole number? Go to your numbers right here. This button. Hey, what's the whole number? It ain't on their phone.
And this is not a Texas.
Yeah, it's an out-of-state number.
Someone's messing with us.
But whoever, it would be pinged here though, because wherever they call from, it pings and sends it to dispatch.
What?
So like whenever you call 911, wherever you are, it sends like a ping that's how they know the address.
And this address came up to this number?
Yes, ma'am, that's where he was meeting. County to engine 42.
So is that somebody on my property?
It could be. We'll check the property for you.
Yes, please.
So we'll ride around. If you can give me a layout, how's the property? Like, does it go further? Like,
no, it doesn't go any further back. It's right here, and then it goes
On the fence, there was a gate, and then the fence around, which is a private fence.
Well, him and I will ride around and check, and then we'll leave. And I'll put the pin back. Because all you do is pull that pin, and then I'll put it all back together.
Thank you, sir.
But yeah, no, I'll take it apart because when it's something like that, when somebody says something like that, we got to get up here to save somebody's life, you know?
Yeah, okay. So that was a false alarm. You see, I don't like this kind of thing. So if I really do have an emergency, then...
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Sorry.
Well, if you do have an emergency, you know we're going to be here.
Okay.
We're going to get here.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate
Thank you.
All right.
Police say the call was a total hoax, a swatting prank. There was no active shooter and no one else on the property besides David's family. 2 days after detectives searched the $20,000 a month rental property, David canceled his Withered World tour. On September 24th, Celeste's body was released back to her family. On that same day, movers were seen boxing up items in David's rental home. Now, the homeowner reportedly said David's manager informed him they'd be breaking the lease and moving out by the end of the week. David's manager did finally speak out about the speculation on social media. He wrote on social media, quote, "This is the only time I'll speak on this matter, for now. This has been a tough time for my family as I am a father of 3 children. I received no emails and I'm no one's roommate. I live full-time at home with my wife and kids. My daughter is 14 and this news is affecting so many lives. I never received any emails. I had zero knowledge of anything and I don't live in California. Also, I work remotely 95% of the time and my job doesn't require me to have much interaction with any of my clients / David, as there are many others that work with him on a day-to-day capacity, not me. This news is tragic for so many and for her family. I hope the proper authorities get to the bottom of it soon. Let me remind a lot of people this is speculation and alleged. In the meantime, I'm with my family helping them emotionally get through the news of this tragedy. Please report on factual information." Again, David hasn't been named by officials as a suspect or a person of interest. What's tying him to the investigation seems to be that Celeste was found in his car, right? But there's a reason some fans believe there's more to this story. There's the matching tattoos both David and Celeste have. Celeste's mom told TMZ her daughter had a boyfriend named David. Then in a leaked song, he professed his love to someone named Celeste. The song titled Celeste Demo Unthinned was reportedly leaked in December of 2023, months before Celeste was reported missing the first time. Then his music videos have been seen in a new light. Way before canceling his tour, the singer reportedly performed with a casket on stage. And in the music video for his song One More Dance, it features a body being dragged into a trunk, very similar to how Celeste was found. In that video, though, David played both the victim and the killer. The video was released back in February, 7 months before the discovery of Celeste's body. So is this all a coincidence, or is there more to it? Well, friends of David previously told TMZ Celeste and the singer were romantically involved, but they reportedly said they didn't think that she was a child. They thought she was a college student at USC. Because remember, Celeste was barely 15 years old when she was found dead, and David is 20 years old. Meaning, if it's true, when David recorded his Celeste unfinished demo song, was he singing about a 13-year-old when he was 18? Law enforcement sources previously confirmed to TMZ that Celeste allegedly used multiple fake IDs to get her access to age-restricted events. So maybe it's possible he didn't know her age. That's still unclear. We did recently learn David hired a high-profile criminal defense attorney. Although it's been reported he's been cooperating with the police investigation, David reportedly tapped Blair Berk to represent him amid the ongoing probe. But will this case get in front of a courtroom? Can't stress enough, as I'm recording this, no charges have been filed against anyone, including David. LA County District Attorney Nathan Hochman confirming his office doesn't have the case.
Where are we at with this Celeste Rivas Hernandez investigation? A lot of people are interested in this.
It is currently under investigation.
You know, is David a suspect? Are there any suspects that you guys have on a list that you're keeping tight to vest? Is there?
So we don't discuss suspects or the points in a continuing investigation. When and if that case is presented to the DA's office and we make a decision on it, I'll make sure you're one of the first to know.
Thank you.
A cause and manner of Celeste's death haven't been determined yet. According to LAPD, the department previously said the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner has not yet determined the cause or manner of Ms. Rivas Hernandez's death. As such, it remains unclear whether there is any criminal culpability beyond the concealment of her body. It's an ongoing investigation. We have a lot of resources dedicated to bringing it to a conclusion. I'm joined now by criminal defense attorney Serena Townsend. Serena, always great to see you. What's your reaction to the LA County District Attorney saying the case hasn't been turned over to his office and it's still an active investigation? It's interesting because we're more than a month after a 15-year-old girl was found dead in the trunk of that Tesla.
You know, I'm not surprised, but I think that the general public is probably like, what is going on here? Why aren't you moving forward? And to them, I would just say that it takes a lot to be able to get proof beyond a reasonable doubt for a conviction. And a district attorney's office is going to wait until police officers, detectives have conducted a full and final investigation so that they've collected enough evidence so that they have a rock hard, solid case. So I'm not necessarily surprised that they're not ready to, go forward, indict, prosecute. I think they really, especially on a media focused type of case, they really want to make sure that all the ducks are in a row and they have enough proof.
And legally, what do prosecutors need if they want to bring the case in front of a jury? I feel like the most important thing is knowing what police found, what their investigation determined, and what the autopsies and that determination was made to.
100%. So although, while we look at this and we're like, hey, there's sadly like a dead girl in this person's car, that should be good enough. It's not, it's essentially they have to get past proof beyond a reasonable doubt. So they go in front of a grand jury, which requires less proof than that, but they really are aiming obviously for a full-on conviction when it does go all the way. So yes, they're going to need, for example, an autopsy to determine the manner of death, the cause of death, the timing and date of death, right? Because if they want to pin it on anybody in particular, they're going to have to try to prove that the person had the opportunity to commit that crime, that they were physically present, in the country, in that place when the crime happened. And of course, they have to prove that it was in fact a crime, that it wasn't this other sad explanation of, maybe somebody, it's far-fetched, but maybe somebody found her and she wasn't murdered. Maybe she died of natural causes and then somebody put her in the trunk. Again, I know that that's very far-fetched, but the bottom line is a DA has to be able to say that no other innocent explanation could be possible.
And why do you think David hired a criminal defense attorney now, even though he's currently not facing any criminal charges? Do you think it's because of all the speculation surrounding the case? Is it because we know Celeste was 14 and David was 20? What do you think brought him to get a criminal defense attorney?
I think you really do have to just get a criminal defense attorney if somebody is found deceased in your car. I mean, it
Yeah.
just, you have to. It is the smart thing to do. It is the wise thing to do. Look, most people, thankfully, don't have a run-in with police. They don't know the criminal justice system. They don't know what their next step should or should not be. It is a precarious situation. Any false move or bad statement that you make, or really anything that you do that isn't advised by an attorney you know, who knows the criminal justice system and has that experience is just a huge risk. So something like this where police are investigating and your car is somehow involved, I mean, you have to lawyer up immediately.
And I don't blame the person either, because I mean, I would say, even if I were just to go to the police station, just always ask for a lawyer. That's always probably going to be your safest bet, I would say. But,
Absolutely.
authorities have also kind of been piecing together that this might also potentially be a concealment case. What defense do you think you could see possibly playing out if that is to be true and if this case were to possibly go to trial?
Right. And again, this all goes back to what evidence they're able to uncover and how they're going to be able to tie this to a particular person or people. Because even if you come home one day and there's evidence of a crime in your home, yes, you are probably going to be the initial suspect at that point. And certainly if something should not be in your home or should never have been in your home or it looks terrible, you're going to want, obviously, a lawyer and you're going to want to be afraid of what could potentially happen here. But the DA will have to show that he knew about this person in his car, that he was, using that car, that he had access to that car, that nobody else had access to that car, or that the other people who did have access to either that person or that car were not having access at the time of the crime. There are just a ton of possibilities here, and moving parts, and you have to nail somebody down very, very carefully if you want to be able to prove a case beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I know there was a lot of speculation, a lot of circumstantial evidence in a way, kind of surrounding this case where I think a lot of people were trying to connect the dots in any way possible. But why do you think people were so quick to speculate that he murdered Celeste, even though we don't necessarily know that?
I think there are signs, there are things that exist, pictures of them together and maybe even some lyrics, which I definitely think is an unfair thing to use against somebody because that is artistic expression. But there are enough things, I guess, to pique people's interest. And the bottom line is, we as the public, like, we don't know exactly who else could have been involved here. Police and detectives are uncovering things and have access to information that we simply don't. And so the only person that we know as members of the public who are consumers of media, the only person that we know, connected to this girl is him. There could have been a lot of other people involved. There could have been other people who knew her, who had a motive to do something to, harm her, conceal her. There could be a lot of other people out there, or even just a random stranger that we simply don't know. And so because the general public only knows him, it's the same thing that we kind of criticize sometimes police in doing. It's like, okay, you're the first person that we lay our eyes on this case, and now we may be fitting puzzle pieces into a theory that we've already determined to be true, rather than keeping an open mind and thinking that maybe there are other explanations here.
Right. Because I know sometimes when people have tunnel vision, they only see what's in that tunnel and not probably what's outside of that tunnel and the other possibilities that could potentially explain what happened. And I know that that a private investigator has been hired by the owner of the rental home David was staying in. What's your reaction to that? Is that pretty typical and normal in a case like this?
I don't think there's a lot of normalcy I don't think this case is very normal or typical in general. So yeah, I do think that everything that's happening here could be looked upon as pretty unique. But again, sometimes people who are like, I want to distance myself from this completely. I'm going to cooperate as much as possible, and I'm going to do whatever I can to help. They may be inclined to hire a detective or a private investigator. It's never a bad idea to, hire somebody to try to find things that are going to keep you out of the equation.
And since it's been more than a month since Celeste's body was found, how soon do you think we'll know what happened to her? When do you think her family, her loved ones will finally get those answers they've been wanting?
That is an excellent question. Unfortunately, I think it's going to take time. First of all, anything that you want to be done right takes time. There are a lot of things that need to be evaluated here, most particularly what happened to her. The medical examiner is going to have to do a lot to determine what happened, when, how. All of those questions are right now unanswered, and they may not be answered. There might be a situation, I mean, not to get, graphic, but it depends on the circumstances of where the body was and for how long. I mean, there could be decomposition that makes it difficult to determine certain things. And of course, I would expect there to be a full investigation with respect to like fingerprints and DNA taken off of the vehicle itself, not just the body. So there's just a lot of scientific analysis that needs to happen. And then there needs to be interpretations of that analysis by police, detectives, DA, etc. So nobody wants to get it wrong. If you get it wrong and then you have to walk it back, those are holes that a defense attorney could poke into.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we rather know for certain as opposed to just, having just a media firestorm type of thing and vigilante justice, any of that type of stuff. We want to know fully what happened before other steps are taken after that. Serena Townsend, I want to thank you so much for your time and your insight into this case. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, as always.
Again, at this time, criminal charges have not been filed against David Anthony Berk or David, nor does anyone face charges for Celeste Rivas Hernandez's death at this time. We're going to continue to keep a close eye on this case as more continues to develop, but that does it for this episode. Be sure to check out more episodes on the Law and Crime YouTube channel. I'm Elizabeth Millner, and this has been Inside the Crime.